from a single mast near the stern, but human muscle power gave the galley its speed and maneuverability. The Spanish penal system provided a steady supply of rowers condemned to die, pulling the heavy 30-foot oars. The Corsia, a narrow gangway that ran fore and aft, was the realm of hard men who urged the rowers on with threats and whiplashes. Aguirre knew that the firepower arrayed against his ship would be formidable. The galleys were nearly twice the 80-foot length of his tubby caravel. The fighting galley routinely carried 50 of the single-shot, muzzle-loaded, smoothbore arquebuses. The heaviest gun, a cast-iron high-angle mortar called a bombard, was mounted on the bow artillery platform. While the galley was a throwback to the sturdy Greek craft that carried Odysseus from Circe to Cyclops, the caravel was the wave of the future. Fast and maneuverable for its day, the rugged ship could sail anywhere on the watery surface of the earth. The easily rigged lateen sails, descended from the Arabic dhow, made the ship far superior to any contemporary sailing vessel when sailing close to the wind. Unfortunately for Aguirre, those sails now hung limply from the twin masts. Aguirre seethed at the short-sighted arrogance that had led him to defy his instinct to stay far out to sea. But he had sailed close to land because the route was more direct. He had never anticipated a dead calm, nor had he expected the galleys to find him so easily. Tossing his blanket aside as if it were a matador's cape, he strode the length of the ship, bellowing orders. "Launch the boats! Look smart, lads, or we'll be keeping the executioners working day and night." The men moved to their tasks with quicksilver speed. Within minutes, all three of the caravel's boats were in the water, manned by the strongest rowers. The lines attached to the ship went bowstring taut, but the caravel stubbornly refused to move. "Pull together," Aguirre shouted, his dark eyes blazing. "You're rowing like a bunch of Spanish whores." The oars churned the calm water into a sudsy foam. The ship shuddered and creaked, and finally it began to inch forward. Aguirre roared his encouragement and dashed back to the stern. He leaned on the rail and put his eye to the spyglass. Through the lens he saw a tall, thin man in the bow platform of the lead galley, looking back at him through a telescope. "El Bracero," Aguirre whispered, with unveiled contempt. Ignatius Martinez saw Aguirre looking at him and curled his thick, voluptuary's lips in a snarl of triumph. His pitiless yellow eyes burned within their deep-set sockets. The long, aristocratic nose was lifted in the air, as if it had encountered a bad smell. "Captain Blackthorne," he purred, to the red-bearded man at his side. "Spread the word among the rowers. Tell them they will be free if we catch our prey." The captain shrugged and carried out the order, knowing that Martinez had no intention of keeping his promise, that it was merely a cruel deception. El Bracero was Spanish for brazier. Martinez had earned his nickname for his zeal in roasting heretics at the auto da fe, as the public spectacles of punishment were called. Although his official title was public prosecutor and advisor to the Inquisition, he had persuaded his higher-ups to appoint him as the inquisitor in charge of prosecuting the Basques. The prosecution of the Basques was extremely profitable. The Inquisition immediately confiscated the property of the accused. The stolen wealth of its victims financed the Inquisition's prisons, secret police, torture chambers, army, and bureaucracy, and made rich men of the inquisitors. Basques had brought the arts of navigation and building ships to unheard-of levels of expertise. Many, like Aguirre, had become rich selling whale products and cod. His busy shipyard on the Nervion River built vessels of every type and size. Aguirre had been aware of the Inquisition and its excesses, but he was too busy running his various enterprises and enjoying the infrequent company of his beautiful wife and 2 children to give it much thought. It was on his return from one trip that he had learned firsthand that Martinez and the Inquisition were malevolent forces that could not be ignored. An angry crowd had greeted the fish-laden ships that edged up to the docks to unload their catch. The people shouted for Aguirre's attention and pleaded for his help. The Inquisition had arrested a group of local women and charged them with witchcraft. His wife was among those taken.